Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a glorious afternoon here at Wescott to celebrate the opening of the latest addition to the space cluster here at Wescott, the Wescott Innovation Centre. I can tell you that I'm now looking through the window of the building I'm in right now at the Innovation Centre, and it looks just like it did on the opening slide you were looking at a few moments ago. In fact, you can still see it there. But even fewer clouds now than are in that image. It really does look quite nice. It's a desperate shame that we aren't able to be here today to be here in person, but I very much look forward to doing that as soon as we possibly can. My name is Stuart Martin. I'm the Chief Executive of the Satellite Applications Catapult. I'm delighted to be joined here by Richard Harrington, the Chief Executive of the Buckinghamshire LEP, one of our partners on this project. Elsewhere in the building here, we have Nigel Mckenzie from Westcott Venture Park, who's going to be telling us a little bit more about the history of the site here and his role in the project. And also we have Marco Pavan, another one of our partners, and I'm delighted that Greg Smith, the local MP, has been able to join us from Westminster, and he's going to be giving us some benefits of his insights into the project and how the importance that he sees. So it doesn't feel like it was 2 years ago that we were here the last time to launch the new phase of space innovation here at the Westcott Venture Park. And at that point, for those of you who are here, you might remember that we celebrated the opening of the 5G Step-Out Centre and the building that I'm now in, the Westcott Incubation Centre. And the other thing that we did on that occasion was that we had a groundbreaking ceremony for the Westcott Innovation Centre. Sorry, lots of centres. And that's the building that we're now celebrating the opening of. I mean, it feels like 2 years has been a journey to get here. You will appreciate there's been many hurdles along the way. But astoundingly, for the last 6 months, our developers who have been working on the project here and the project team here, they've kept almost completely to the schedule. And so we're only about 1 week late in being able to open the building now, which I think would have been good under any circumstances. But in the circumstances of the last 6 months is nigh on astonishing. So I think that's a real testament to the efforts of all the team here at Westcott with the LEP and our partners doing the build for us too. And I think importantly, it's the next step here for Westcott. It's going to be enabling a new generation of companies to develop their new capabilities in space, taking advantage of the facilities that we have here at Westcott, both in the Incubation Centre, the 5G Centre, and also what else is going on here in the site, particularly the groundbreaking work being done on space propulsion. But it is still very much the start of a journey, and there is a tremendous potential and huge ambition for what we have planned for here at Westcott in the years ahead. And hopefully we'll hear a little bit more about that as we go through this afternoon. But that said, I'd like to thank all our partners who have contributed to the progress that we've made so far. And without further ado, I'd like to hand over to one of them, Nigel Mckenzie of Westcott Venture Park, who's going to be able to tell us a bit more about the history of the site and some of the plans that he's got in store. So Nigel, over to you.
How's that? I'm here. Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me? Is that all right? I'm Nigel Mckenzie, and I handle development projects at Westcott Venture Park on behalf of the owners, Patrizia Hanover Property Unit Trust. Westcott is a secure 650-acre site located on the A41 in Buckinghamshire, midway between Bicester and Aylesbury. It's enclosed within a 9-mile perimeter fence with only one point of access and surrounded on all sides by farmland. Today, it's home to over 80 businesses, occupying approximately 500,000 square feet of floor space in a range of buildings set in a secure and very pleasant parkland setting. For those of you not familiar with Wescott's place in the history of rocketry in the UK, it was originally an RAF bomber training base during World War II, but was chosen by the government in 1946 to become the main research facility for the development of rocket propulsion systems for missiles, the Guided Projectile Establishment, which went on to become the Rocket Propulsion Establishment in the late 1950s. The government chose to invest significant resources here at Wescott because it was a very low profile location. It's relatively close to London, and where top secret research, development, and crucially the testing of rocket motors could take place all on one site. In its heyday during the late 1950s and early 60s, there were as many as 2,000 people working on the site. When the government decided to reduce its financial commitment to missile launch systems in the mid-1960s, the technology developed here at Wescott was then refocused to a large extent to more commercial applications, to research, development, and testing of launch and propulsion systems for satellites and for space exploration. By the mid-1980s, the park had moved into private ownership and, like many ex-government sites, was repositioned as a more general business park with a much wider range of occupiers. But there was still a nucleus of 4 or 5 rocket companies involved in propulsion and space on the park, and they were still carrying out testing of rocket propulsion systems. I think we recognized there was already a good level of collaboration within this core group of companies, and indeed in the UK rocket community generally, and therefore the opportunity existed to create an ecosystem at Westcott, focusing firstly on propulsion and space technology, but bringing in other related technologies, including satellite communications and 5G. The aim we have here for Westcott is to further develop as a centre of excellence where people from various related business sectors can collaborate, research, then develop and test new technologies all in one place. It's the ability to test, then adapt, alter, further develop and test again, all in a secure parkland setting in Buckinghamshire that makes Westcott unique. Over the last 5 years, we've worked very closely with the Satellite Applications Catapult and other partners to achieve that aim and to capitalise on the government interest in space as a catalyst for new technology and education in the UK. Through a combination of new build and refurbishment of existing structures, we've established a space cluster here on the park, and we are here today to hear from our partners at the Catapult about the latest exciting addition to that cluster. But just before we do that, I just wanted to take a moment to explain the role of Patrizia here. Its role is really to support the occupiers on the park, to provide a range of accommodation, technology and manufacturing space, offices, laboratories, and test facilities. As part of that role, we have recently started construction of a new National Space Propulsion Test Facility for the UK government, in which they are installing equipment which will provide world-leading facilities for testing rocket motors at high altitude in vacuum conditions. This facility will appeal to the full range of companies within space propulsion, from entry-level academia through to startup companies, to established SMEs, and to international primes. Importantly, it adds to the test capability, which is Westcott's USP. The first testing, we hope, will commence in the first quarter of next year. The other key role Patrizia has is to make sure that the infrastructure is in place to support these buildings and the people working here. That's roads, power, drainage, all of which is not an insignificant task on a 650-acre site. The most recent addition to that infrastructure are the estate roads serving the space cluster and the construction of the new roundabout access direct from the A41, which provides us with much needed capacity on what had become quite a congested junction and will allow further significant development to take place on the park. This was a very successful private-public collaboration between Patrizia, Buckinghamshire Council and Buckinghamshire Local Enterprise Partnership, and we anticipate further close cooperation with these bodies as we move to the next phase of development. Despite the difficulties affecting all of us in the pandemic, we are delighted that our occupiers here at Wescott have proved resilient across all sectors. We have not seen any business failures, and whilst we all remain cautious, we have detailed discussions now underway on 3 new projects, which we hope to start on site during 2021. We will share details with everyone in due course, but for now, I'd like to hand over to Richard Harrington of the Buckinghamshire Local Enterprise Partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, Stuart. Good afternoon all and welcome to Buckinghamshire. I'm Richard Harrington. I'm the Chief Executive of the Buckinghamshire Local Enterprise Partnership. The LEP has successfully promoted Westcott Venture Park as an enterprise zone, and that means we have the ability to invest retained business rates into our Buckinghamshire local economic assets. Our focus at Wescott is with the space industry, where we'd like to grow the local ecosystem and to develop our global capacity, our global assets. I'm delighted to be here today to record another achievement along this path with the opening of the impressive new Innovation Centre at Westcott. This new development is an important step towards delivering a world-leading hub for the space sector at the heart of Buckinghamshire. It comes at a crucial stage in transforming this site to be one of the most important national locations for the application of innovation in the fields of space propulsion, 5G technologies, and satellite capabilities. It was here at Wescott that Buckinghamshire LEP signed our first growth deal with government in 2015. And our choice of location was no coincidence. We recognised this site had enormous potential to be one of the most important parts of the space landscape, and that supporting existing and attracting new space capability could help transformational growth for Buckinghamshire. So since that point, the development of the space sector in Westcott has become a central pillar of our local industrial strategy. As a designated enterprise zone, we've invested in the 5G Step Out Centre and in Business Incubation Centre. Most recently, we've helped create a new entrance to the Westcott Venture Park and have committed to the development of an initial Disruptive Innovation Space Centre, DISC, on which work will be commencing over the coming months. What's perhaps most important, the thing Nigel referred to it, is how we've sought to bring together key partners to help shape a long-term potential for the site. And together with the Space Applications Catapult and UK Space Agency, and with Propulsion and other major partners, we've developed an ambitious 10-year plan for the site, bringing together new employment uses and zones, educational capabilities, leading to apprenticeships, and a skills hub that we expect will create many thousands of highly skilled jobs and attract hundreds of millions of pounds of investment into the area. This will be our main conversation with government to attract more information, more investment into Westcott, and to place Westcott firmly within the local economic space ecosystem. So partners have completed a business case for the new DISC, and that is currently under consideration. This DISC will also help kickstart the 10-year plan for Westcott, for which we're also preparing an outline business case. Space Applications Catapult has been at the heart of that, which could attract up to £240 million of government investment over a 10-year period, and would help create a multifunctional space innovation business park to include research and development and manufacturing facilities up to of 1 million square feet, all servicing the space sector. So this new innovation centre is among those first steps towards that 10-year vision. It will provide the production space for businesses to develop and prototype new products, and it will transform the way in which we live in the future. I'm also pleased that through the investment of our local growth funds, this magnificent new facility is now ready to host its first space innovators. At this important time for our national economy, the new innovation centre and the future plan will be good for Wescott. It'll be transformational for Buckinghamshire, and it'll be great for Great Britain. Thank you, Stuart.
Well, thank you very much, Richard, and thank you also to Nigel for the vision that you are articulating about the site here, and we're delighted to be partnering with you both on this. We also find that extremely exciting. I think now we're going to have a short video, which is going to try and bring the centre a little bit more alive, since unfortunately we're not able to walk you around it directly.
The newly built Westcott Innovation Centre provides a place for businesses to grow their capabilities and establish a base alongside other space-related companies and innovators. The main feature of this facility is the 600 square engineering and prototyping centre, which offers access to equipment and flexible workspace to develop technologies from concept to reality. Situated alongside the Business Incubation Centre and 5G Step-Out Centre, this is the third facility on site to be managed by the Satellite Applications Catapult. In 2018, we launched the Wescott Space Cluster, which at the time consisted of the Business Incubation Centre, 5G Centre and 8 space companies.
The fascinating thing about Wescott is actually there isn't anywhere else in Europe you can go to test rocket engines. If you want to test a liquid rocket engine of a certain size, and you want to find the facilities and the support and the ability to innovate and incubate and even find the people with the right skills, there are so few places you can actually go almost anywhere in the world. Of course, there are some facilities which belong to the European Space Agency which you can access. There are other facilities which belong to the Ministry of Defence. But some of these facilities are actually very difficult to access, and facilities which are operated often by the agencies and operated by governments have certain caveats and limitations. Westcott is a commercial site built for innovation, built for acceleration of technologies. It's ideal for small companies to come to. It's equally good for larger companies to come and work with existing facilities and draw on both that heritage and those skills which exist here. So Westcott's a complex ecosystem. 5G, drones, the business incubation centres, the innovation centres and the space capabilities, they all overlap, because at heart of all these areas are key skills. It's about innovation, it's about skills acceleration, and it's about technology development. So irrespective of whether you're trying to test a drone, build a next generation 5G network, or you're trying to develop the latest in a 2-stage rocket, the reality is that many of these skills are built upon each other. Good innovation, good technical skills, a firm engineering basis and foundation for excellence.
The Wescott Business Incubation Centre provides support to early stage businesses working in rocket propulsion, satellite and 5G communications and autonomous systems such as drones. We provide a tailored package of support to each business based on their needs. This can include technical expertise, specialist business advice, access to test facilities and connections within the industry. In our first 2 years, we actively supported 19 businesses that came to us with an innovative idea and needed help to propel these towards commercialization. We are really excited about the new Innovation Centre next to us. It will allow businesses graduating from the Incubation Centre to continue their journey here in Westcott with great access to test facilities and office space.
So today, if you want access to 5G, you're pretty limited in its deployment, and that will remain for about another 2 years while the commercial operators deploy. That 5G coverage is still only limited to certain demographic areas, e.g. large populous cities. What Wescott does is give you that access early enough to develop your products and services, So when you do see a proliferation of 5G across the UK, you're able to have tested, verified and show the benefit of your 5G product in advance of those commercial deployments. We have an open area where we're transmitting a full 5G radio signal. We can offer access to both the core network and the radio access network in 5G, and we run both a non-standalone and standalone system here. So that's early 5G release, so e.g. non-standalone, as you see from our commercial operators today, and then the next generation of 5G, which is standalone, which we can run up to a gigabit in speed today. So innovation brings an added dimension to what we're doing at Wescott. It gives us the ability to support light mechanical engineering and electronic engineering. And so when we talk about mechanical engineering, we're talking about working with materials such as composite carbon fibre, light alloys, etc. So machining, milling, cutting of those materials. And also with electronics, we're looking at design of single layer or multi-layer PCBs, and then some early production of that PCB environment and electronic systems. So this is the innovation building. This is the technical section of the innovation building. So the building is split roughly 60% technical open space and 40% supporting offices and meeting rooms. This is an area that was designed as flexible as possible, so we can subdivide the building if we so wish to. All the electrical services, mechanical support services are all split into 3 areas, and as you can see at the moment we are ready for occupation and to tailor and fit out both the mechanical and electronic engineering facilities part of this technical space.
So this space is going to be filled with a range of engineering capabilities designed to support the infrastructure and ecosystem of Wescott. So that doesn't just include rocket propulsion, it includes drones and 5G technologies, and of course a myriad of other technologies and innovations which may come here because of adjacencies between those sectors. This space is a large space, as you can tell, and you can certainly hear from the echoes behind me, but eventually it will be populated with a combination of clean test areas for assembly of propulsion systems, electronics for verification of drone systems, manufacturing capabilities including additive manufacturing, or colloquially known as 3D printing, laser cutting, water jet cutting, electronic test and assembly of components, and a variety of other systems which we can use to put together everything from rocket engines across to new types of drones, to new types of communication systems, and a whole variety of technologies that fall in between.
As Kieran mentioned, the Innovation Centre has been built to be as flexible as possible for all. We welcome individuals and businesses to use offices, meeting rooms and engineering space on short, medium or long-term basis. We also offer users the option to combine hot desking in Westcott with similar space at our headquarters in Harwell, so you can use desks at both locations at no extra cost. The offices can be divided into smaller spaces if businesses want to hire a certain amount of desks for a longer period of time that need extra privacy. In addition, there are 7 meeting rooms with varying capacity from 2 to 22 people, allowing for a great opportunity to meet people on site. Downstairs, the collaboration space, including a kitchen area for businesses using the centre and a large atrium, can be used for hosting events and networking. Establishing a presence in the centre will also give you access to facilities and expertise you would not get anywhere else. Monthly networking events run by the Catapult and the Incubation Centre provides the opportunity to meet others in industry, whether in virtual or person. We will update you on funding opportunities, the latest achievements of businesses in our communities, and other events that may be of interest to you.
People should really consider Wescott as being firstly a central point for those types of engineering activities that support the space growth agenda, and also working closely with the partner organisations that we've got on site already, so NAMO and Moog type organisations. And also the fact is, this is an innovation centre, so we're looking for companies that have got a real desire to develop products and services in the future and actually peer into that, a space to grow, space to develop new products in a safe and controlled and secure environment, and also to help tailor up what the future will be in Wescott as well. So in other words, taking you from what we call alpha product development all the way through to what we call general availability product development as well, so GA products.
We're at the starting point of effectively a new space age in the United Kingdom. In the past, the old space age was all about going into space for science-driven curiosity. It was about building a space station, it was partially about the space race. The new space race, the new space age is about commercialization in space. It's about building rockets which go beyond the Earth. It's about orbital manufacturing. It's about taking technologies like 5G and drones and a whole variety of other areas and pushing them forward. The UK is at that precipice of being able to contribute and lead in these areas. So if you have innovation, you have ideas, and if you feel that you have something which can change the way our society, our world, ultimately the very things that we do, whether it's driven by science, or whether it's driven by innovation, or whether it's driven by curiosity, Westcott's a great place to be, it's a great place to innovate, and I'd suggest that it's a great place to work.
There is still time to shape the facilities and capabilities that will be provided in the engineering space. If you'd like to inquire about using the space or any of the other Catapult's facilities, please get in touch with us by visiting our website, emailing us, or giving us a call.
Great stuff. Thank you for that. That's the first time I've actually seen that video, and I think that last point that was made there about the future of space being commercial. I mean, that's exactly the way that we see it. Exactly what we're already seeing here at Westcott, and what the Innovation Centre is going to help us accelerate. So I'm delighted now to be able to introduce MP for the local area, Greg Smith, who's been able to carve out a little window into his busy parliamentary schedule and is joining us from his Westminster office. So, Greg, over to you.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm never ever too busy for Westcott. Let's say that from the very outset. And actually, it was fantastic to be on site a couple of months ago when the centre wasn't quite finished. There were still the final touches being put together, and to see it shaping up. And what an exciting venture and project this is, not just for Buckinghamshire, although obviously everything we do is for Buckinghamshire, the jobs that will be created, the innovation that will take place, the new technologies created, but actually for the whole country, because I don't need to tell anybody that thanks to coronavirus, thanks to the international pandemic we are suffering, the economy is going to be in a very different place when we come to the other side of this crisis. And it is down to, frankly, everyone at Westcott and up at Silverstone Park in my constituency as well, and the enterprise zones that are going to make the difference between having jobs to look forward to, having an economy to look forward to. And so I want to say thank you to absolutely everybody involved in getting the Innovation Centre going, everything else that happens at Westcott going. We're all excited about 5G. I think, don't worry, that's not the fire alarm, that's just the bell that's saying that the House is about to sit for, I think, work and pensions questions today. It always goes off when I'm unmuted on a video call. But just to continue that point, 5G is clearly something that's actually on everybody's mind at the moment, not least to that little technology company over in Cupertino putting the technology in their phones that they're about to launch. It's going to get households talking about 5G far more. But the impact that 5G can have as soon as we've got it rolled out across the whole country is literally going to be game changing for a lot of businesses, for a lot of consumers, individuals alike. And so the ability to properly test it, the ability to put it through its paces at Westcott is so important. Likewise, in the space sector, as we heard about in that video. So I'm so proud to have Westcott in my constituency. Anything at all I can do to help and support, whether that's taking pitches to government and to ministers and to bang the drum and get people to understand what is happening on the ground at Westcott, I will gladly do 1,000 times over, and likewise support each and every one of the individual businesses that are located there. So well done, fantastic work by everyone. And I look forward to announcing the place officially open from London, although I was in Buckinghamshire this morning, later on in proceedings, but thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Greg, and we look forward to welcoming you back and showing you around properly as soon as we possibly can. And I know that I speak for all the partners here, and we are truly grateful for all the support that you've shown us, and it's so important to get the support of people like you in Parliament. Otherwise, these sorts of things aren't possible. So thank you for that. So our next speaker is going to be one of the entrepreneurs who's actually doing business here at Wescott. And so I'm really pleased to introduce Marco Pavan from Steamjet Space Systems, who's going to be talking to us a little bit about what his company is doing.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for this for the opportunity to say a few words about us today. So I'm going to share the screen. That should show you my presentation. Can you all see the presentation? Great. All right. So thanks again. My name is Marco Pavan. I am co-founder and director of Steamjet Space Systems. And I would like just to say a few words about our technology. So we were actually the first company incubated at the Westcott Business Incubation Center back in 2018. So we did some development. And I would like also to say a few words about how we think that the Innovation Center can actually help our company in going ahead in the next future. So first of all, just a few words about what we do. So at Steamjet, we are developing safe, compact, and affordable propulsion systems for CubeSats and small satellites. We have a proprietary technology which uses just low pressure water as the main propellant. And this is reducing the cost and the risks associated with the typical propulsion system, such as cold gas thrusters or chemical system. And then using only low pressure water, our system is quite easy to be integrated into the final satellite. I would like to show you our first product. So this is our Tuna can propulsion system. So I'm very proud actually to present this. This is the only propulsion system in the market at the moment that can be completely installed outside the main CubeSat structure. And we do that exploiting the so-called Tuna can volume, which is available in CubeSat deployers. So we can see, without going too much into details, we can see a typical configuration on the left. We have a CubeSat, which is a very small platform. And then we have a CubeSat deployer, which is the tool which is actually deploying the CubeSat into the final orbit. And then we can see there is a volume where a spring is located. That spring is used to give a little push to the CubeSat into the final orbit. And we can fit our propulsion system in that small volume so that we don't take any volume inside the satellite structure, so that the customer can have more room for payloads and for other subsystems. So this is a pretty good solution for very small platforms, such as 3 units or 6 units CubeSats. But what can you actually do with such a small system? Well, if we are targeting 3 unit satellites, which are around 5 kilograms in mass, then with our propulsion system, you can extend, for instance, your lifetime from 1.6 years without propulsion on a 400 kilometers orbit. You can go over 4 years, so you can extend your lifetime of about 3 times. Then you can obviously do orbital changes. And if you have a constellation, you can phase your satellites into the correct position of your constellation. And a very important thing to have nowadays is also the possibility to do collision avoidance, as we have more and more space objects in space. With a propulsion system even smaller like our system, you can still change your orbit in case you're about to hit another object in space. And we do offer also other options. So for heavier satellites, this very small propulsion system might be a bit limited, but we do offer bespoke configurations with more water to basically fit customers' needs. I'm also pretty excited to announce that we're going to test our technology in space in December this year. So we're going to have our first in-orbit demonstration, should be around the 18th of December. And we're going to do that on board of our own satellite. It's going to be a very tiny satellite. The SteamSat-1 is going to be a 1.5 unit CubeSat, so pretty small, on a 600 kilometers sun-synchronous orbit. And we look forward to share the results of that mission with all you. But we're not focusing just on the Tuna thruster, which is our first product. We're going to use our steam generation technology also to serve small satellites up to 150 kilograms. And also we're going to use the technology to provide attitude control, not just to small satellites, but also to medium and large satellites as well, to provide a very good alternative to hydrazines or cold gas thrusters, for instance. So now just a few words about why do we think the Innovation Center will be helpful for us? Well, as I say at the beginning, we were the first company accepted at the Wescott Business Incubation Center. And we really, that has been extremely helpful for us because we had the possibility to access a lot of expertise. We had the possibility to have grants, which helped us during the initial development of our technology. And we also had a lot of international exposure to basically spread the word about what we do. Now we are in a stage as a startup where we are going from a pure R&D to R&D and initial small production from 2021. So we believe that the Innovation Center can be for us a really flexible solution, basically to start with the initial small scale production. Therefore, could be a natural next step, let's say, in our future. So with this, I conclude. So thank you very much again for giving me the possibility to say a few words. And if anyone is interested in having more information about the propulsion system, please feel free to ask or contact me by emails. I'll be happy to answer any question or follow this up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marco. I think I really love this idea. Conceptually, it's such a simple idea, but it solves such an important problem that we have with CubeSats, and both in the launch and also in the sort of the management of space debris as well. So I think it's a technology with a great potential, and we're delighted to be working with you on that.
Thanks.
So I think we have one final piece now for you. We're going to hear from a gentleman called John Vasey. He's the head of health and well-being, or business manager for health and well-being at the Catapult, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how he sees the new centre, the Westcott Innovation Centre, supporting the work that he's doing in the health domain.
So the challenges that the Living Lab are trying to address are twofold. One, from a business's point of view, giving a facility where they can test and trial things and look to scale and have large-scale adoptions of their technologies. So moving beyond just a proof of concept and beyond just a pilot of their technology. And from a healthcare perspective, what we're really looking for are locations and healthcare economies that are really trying to work hand in hand with their technology rather than trying to find ways to work around the technology that they've been provided or supplied with. This will only work as a Living Lab if we can do this in collaboration and co-design so that all parties understand what we're trying to achieve and are part of the journey throughout. So the Living Lab concept was really born out of an ongoing relationship that our Catapult has with NHS Arden and GEMS CSU, and it's been created over a number of years and developed and reinforced, and it's in line with some of the international living labs. But fundamentally, it's come out of that challenge space where we've both seen, as two separate organisations and as a partnership, that there are a number of trials and proof of concepts being developed, and there's a number of technology solutions looking for a problem or looking for a destination to pick up their solution. But fundamentally, we're trying to redress that and take a different approach, whereby it starts from what is the problem, what are the opportunities, and how do we bring an expertise of independence from the catapult and technological expertise, as well as an independent view from the NHS to say these are the things that we should be trialling, these are the ways in which we should be pushing digital transformation forward. So the Living Lab has already started. As you can see behind me, we've purchased our own ambulance. We've started kitting out various different communications technologies onto the roof to trial things. We're looking at partnerships with different organisations about how this can be used. And we're already being approached by various acute hospitals about how we can embed some of the ways of working from the Living Lab into their settings and work in partnership with them. And actually, one of the things we're really keen on from the Catapult is looking at the various projects that we've got live and how can we make the most of the Living Lab methodology to make those health and wellbeing projects and some of the things that we're doing in the connectivity space more Living Lab appropriate. The Innovation Centre is fundamental to the Living Lab. It's a place where we can house the various facilities that we're developing, whether that's the ambulance that we want to be working on behind me, or whether that's some of these sets that we want to design for the simulation spaces we want for GP surgeries, care home bedrooms, hospital beds, so that businesses can come in and use those facilities and see whether their kit and capability can fit within the dimensions and the capability around communications and other technologies. So it's a really important space to have, not only physically but also within Wescott because of the 5G connectivity that we've got. I think Wescott's really important. It's centrally located, it's got great access, but it's also got plenty of open space to do trials and tests, so we can have this ambulance or subsequent ambulances being able to drive around and really test the limits to some of the capabilities. So yes, it might be able, a device might be able to stay connected to a 5G modem when the ambulance is parked, but can it do it at 30 miles an hour around this site? It's a real opportunity to do that. Not only the space that we've got here, but also the wider venture park has space to also test complementary technologies like drones and others to look at how do those things and those new technologies really complement what ambulances and the healthcare system at large is trying to achieve. So the process is relatively straightforward at the moment. If you want to drop us an email, health@sa.catapult.org.uk, we can start the process and start to look at what facilities you would like to use, whether physically or virtually, how we can partner up and look to start deploying on various initiatives. We're really keen to start exploring that both in England and in the other UK nations, as well as further afield if that's something you're interested in.
Another insight there into some of the ideas that we've got for how we're going to use this innovation centre. This was something that we've been working on for a little while with our partners in the NHS. If you could put reliable HD quality video communications into an ambulance, you're essentially turning the ambulance into an extension of your hospital and opens up all sorts of possibilities of the things that you can do. So really exciting, and it's great that we're going to be using the centre here and also the site here at Westcott to be trying to look at some of the operational challenges of actually doing that. Very exciting. So there's only one thing that's left for me to do now, and that is to ask Greg if he would be so kind as to officially declare the Westcott Innovation Centre open.
Well, for the first time, I think I've opened anything as a Member of Parliament. I'm doing so virtually, but delighted to do so and announce the fantastic Westcott Innovation Centre open. That didn't marry up with the animation.
So congratulations, thank you very much, Greg. I think that video didn't quite go as I expected it at the end there, but thank you very much for doing that for us. And so for a final time, thank you to all our speakers today, for all our partners that have helped make this centre possible, and thank you for everyone who has joined us on the call today. And I look forward to welcoming you all here so that we can show you around in person as soon as we possibly can. So thank you very much. The Westcott Innovation Centre is now open, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.